Alright, hello world. Is everyone ready? Right here you can see the crypto market cap starting to come up. It's not looking super strong, but it definitely is showing an upside down head and shoulders. And this is going to continue proving out where we're still within theory that I've made a couple days ago, last week I think, that we're going to have something similar to ETH where we drop down and then we're going to test the all-time highs. We're going to flatten out at the high end before sweeping our way up to the next level. Now, the only thing that has now come into mind is what are the ramifications of the market cap of cryptocurrencies going to have on the rest of the world? When everyone sees, oh my god, they're retesting the highs, right? And they're going to get all the market, all the media to talk about, oh, retesting the highs, are we going to continue forward? Is Bitcoin going to break the all-time high of 20,000? Oh my god, this just surprised everyone. And everyone buys in, they bring it up to the top, they shout it, they drop it again. The media duped the people again. Okay, but what are the ramifications on the rest of the world when that happens? When the media starts focusing on these new cryptocurrencies, when Bitcoin becomes, over 10,000 all the time, forever and beyond. That is going to do something really big that no one's quite understanding, or at least on a broad scale, no one's quite understanding this just yet. But it really dawned on me when I went to the Strip and was in the elevator and someone was like, this thing was $5 plus the water or something like that. And it was just like, it had to do with the bills. And they blamed it on the Strip. The Strip is expensive and that's annoying and stuff like that. But it's really not the Strip. The Strip is expensive. But it's... Dog doesn't speak English. If only they did, huh? So, the the ramifications of the crypto prices going up has to also coincide with the value of everything going up against the dollar. The dollar's going to crash. The dollar and all fiat currencies, really, they're all going to get weak and get destroyed in hyperinflation. So when people are on the Strip saying, oh, the Strip is expensive, it's not really the Strip that's expensive, although it is expensive. It's also the value of the US dollar. It's the weakening. And the real hyperinflation needs to take place in the prices. And so I'm calling it that this was, from like the middle of 2018 back to the middle of 2017, the beginning of hyperinflation for the almighty US dollar. Because the past year, I've seen the price of eggs go, like high quality eggs, right? The nice eggs. Free range. They went from, at least at Sprouts, in Vegas, but still, price of eggs went from probably high $4 or $5, let's call it $5, to now they are $6. That's 20% inflation on the price of eggs, which I'm just assuming and rounding is out for the rest of the products, and it just has to do entirely with the US dollar. Those are my assumptions, and I'm going to hold true to that. But this was year zero. This is where the US dollar literally just hyperinflated 20%, and we just started the curve that's going to take it. So when we start retesting the all-time highs of the coin market cap, that's where the price of eggs are going to start going to $7 and then $8. Next year will probably, let's be realistic. If we start at 20% this year and we keep going in a hyperinflation parabolic curve, then the next year is 40 to 50%, which means that $6 eggs are going to be $9 by next year. That would be the absolute proof that hyperinflation is taking over, and there's no way that it can't. But what's going to happen in that year is that Bitcoin is going to go to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,000, 100,000 if, of course, you add up all the chains of Bitcoin, Cash, plus Bitcoin Gold, plus Bitcoin Diamond, plus Bitcoin Private, plus Bitcoin Green, right? So that's how I see the next year going. So we've really established that next level floor. I'm still extremely bullish on the crypto market, and anyone who doesn't see it by this point is going to get swept away, completely swept away. And right now is like banging on the head, like the best time ever to get into crypto. Now that you've seen this momentum, it's the quiet period. As you can see, the volume down at the bottom is tapering off. It's kind of like people are sort of forgetting about crypto, not really trading the crypto. There's not a lot of new money coming in. That's always the best time, right? So the ramifications, though, the inevitable mathematical inevitability, right, is that the US dollar and all fiat currencies will hyperinflate, because now that we have decentralized cryptocurrency networks, US dollar, or the US dollar tether, which you just take the piece of paper, you lock it in a vault, you only create the certain amount of tokens on the blockchain that there are in the vault. Someone called it corrupt, and it could be corrupted, but the idea of tethering cryptocurrency to the US dollar just by locking the paper in the vault is fine, right? But still, it turns it into a shitcoin. Not that US dollar tether is a shitcoin, but that US dollars are inherently now a shitcoin. Before, they were the supreme currency. First backed by gold, backed by silver, backed by the full faith of the government, the US government, which was the most powerful and trusted government on the planet. And now, it's kind of that corrupt entity that robs people and destroys lives, right? So, at least that's the reputation that I'm aware of exists in the world today. And if there's not an audit, and there's no, really there's no way to ensure the supply of the US dollar is upheld, and really, honestly, the equity holders of the Federal Reserve are known and ideally publicly, the shares are publicly traded so that the people could own the shares of the US dollar network. It's the only solution I could see to fixing the problem. Otherwise, the idea that U.S. dollar is corrupt, the U.S. government is corrupt, all governments are corrupt, all fiat currencies are corrupted by central bankers who just print the printing presses and hope no one finds out. That's where we are, that's where we've been, and that's why cryptocurrencies are special, as I'm sure many people already know. But then, once you realize that, once you realize the quadrillions, not just trillions, we're beyond billions, beyond trillions into quadrillions of paper and digital currency, all unchecked, all unbacked, and no one knowing about it. We're in that pivotal moment of time where people are starting to figure it out. Once it gets realized that essentially, from what I've learned, a bunch of Luciferian, devil-worshipping, people-torturing human beings, maybe aliens as well, but really just dark, evil entities corrupting a small portion of the human population, which is also in control of the equity ownership over the currency and then manipulating that currency so that they can print as much as they want, like ripping the toilet paper and then just buying up the shares of corporations and property, real estate, commodities, goods, people, right? Countries, police, media, all of it. You own the currency. You could buy the politician. You buy all the politicians. You buy the political system. You buy the military. You buy the police force. You buy it all. And really, once you're in this state, their goal is just to not be noticed while they commit their horrendous acts of devil worship. It's just what I know. It's just what I am under the awareness of. I'm not here to prove it to be fact because I really don't have the facts to prove it. And really, it's rather difficult to prove it because the way I see it, you got to create a circle, a perimeter. You essentially create a perimeter around the event, whether it be U.S. dollars or preying on children, or it's currency ownership or evil deed, manipulation, stuff like that. You essentially create this perimeter where you know that you're in the dark, and then you commit the act knowing that no one around can really see. So how do you break that barrier without triggering the alarm and calling off the charade, so to speak? I don't know. But if the powerful people are not like, the equity holders and whatnot are not on the television and not really known, not leaders, great leaders that everyone looks up to because of the massive amount of great things that they do for the planet, then, it's easy to assume that they could be dark entities who don't want to be known, don't want anyone to know who they are, not just for the sake of privacy, because it's like they all want it for the sake of privacy. No, it would be because they're kind of all fucking over the people. And they don't want the people to know who they are because they're feasting on the children of, what I mean? So anyway, that's the awareness I know of. Just wanted to share it and prepare people for the ramifications of crypto going to the moon. And it just keep going to the moon, because I'm there. I'm bullish. It's going to keep going to the moon. But don't forget, the more it goes to the moon, the more everyone around you is going to be like, why is everything so expensive? And those poor suckers, like, eventually you get to a desperation state where you start listening to the people that you discounted, right? You don't know what you're talking about. U.S. dollars are king. Bitcoin's a sham. It'll go away, right? Those people are eventually like, why is everything so expensive? And all you got to do is say, well, it's not that it's expensive. It's just that the U.S. dollar is a worthless shitcoin. It's a piece of crap, man. Who owns the Federal Reserve? Who controls it? Do you know? And then furthermore, what is money? What is money, man? Is U.S. dollars money? If you think that's money, then who makes that money? Who controls it? Because I own a Bitcoin mine, and I print Bitcoin. So I know who prints Bitcoin. It's the people's money, man. I get to make it. But if I get to print U.S. dollars, or if I did print U.S. dollars, I go to jail. So who does make U.S. dollars? Oh, it's the Federal Reserve. Great. Okay, so how much have they made? How much have they printed? And did you know that they can make it on paper and on digital? And who owns the Federal Reserve? Did you? It's not even a government entity. It's a private corporation. It's a private bank. It's a private bank, like a business with shareholders. Did you know that? You didn't know that? Oh, you shouldn't be saying that things are expensive. You don't even know what money is. So, get ready. Oh man, that's gonna be wicked. Wicked. Poor Cliff High. Hey, shout out to Cliff High. Man, Why the heck did he stop doing the woo-woo report? Why did he stop talking about money? Damn it. Come on, man. That's all right. We got to pick up where he left off. So eventually, everyone, I mean, I would say the vast majority of people are going to feel a massive depression when everything starts rising and they're going to, have to jump on somewhere. It's going to be that, everything's so expensive. What do I do? Yeah, it's sorry. Your job is paying you in U.S. dollars. You need to, hop on board the crypto wagon. And that's where research and data and information is going to become very valuable. I've got Cryptø Dashboards almost ready. It's almost ready to start development. It'll take 2 months, maybe 3. But it's going to be awesome. We're going to show so much awesome information. And we're currently just about ready to launch our investors founders sale. So just people I know. If you want to know me, reach out. We're only looking for like 3 people to generate enough funds to pay the development team. And we're going to show, we're going to remove, like this website will remove the concept that cash is king. Even, also, on top of that, remove the concept that everything trades against ETH. Everything trade against Bitcoin. What's the chart of Augur over Gnosis? What's Augur versus Gnosis? There's no exchange that trades Augur over Gnosis. They just trade Augur over Bitcoin, Augur over Ethereum, Gnosis over Bitcoin, Gnosis over Ethereum. Right? But what's the trend line between Augur versus Gnosis? That is where we're going. Times that by 1,000, because it's Augur over Gnosis. It's also Augur over, I think it's Stocks. STOX is another prediction market token. But then we're also getting into lending, like Populus over Veritasium, Karma over Salt, social media. So we've got Steam over Theta token, even advertising tokens, ADX over BAT, right? Pre-search, oh, that's a cheap one. That'll be good. That'll be like the Google killer, right? If they could get that out there, I'm sure they will at least pump 100x from here. But the problem is that their supply is only like 17% of the max supply. And that's going to be one of the problems. You need to know all the data. You need to know all the information to really make great investing decisions. And a lot of people, they just go, they find something, they get excited, they go all in. It's just kind of like a noob impulse vomit reaction. And then you're like, crap, I'm stuck with this one. But, it is what it is, and we're all a part of this market, this network of the human population, all interacting and, creating this unpredictability between us because there's so many minds with so many thoughts and actions and whatnot. So yeah, stay tuned. Let me know, send me a message. If you have seen inflation in goods and services within your area, make a comment. I want to start talking about that because people really need to open their eyes up to what the inflation, what the hyperinflation really means and what's going to happen as a result of crypto continuing to go to the moon. There's going to be a lot of people freaking out, a lot. They're going to be like, why is everything so expensive? And they're going to be like, you know what Bitcoin is? So yeah, how do you protect yourself? How do you prepare? How do you prepare right now? Okay, not advice, just a story, a success story. max out your credit card. I maxed out my credit card and went into Bitcoin Ethereum in 2016. I suggest people do that right now. Get into Ethereum and then get into some of the alts. There's a few that are just fantastic. And really, CoinMarketCap, find the ones that are really doing something. Real utility. Forget currencies. Currencies, I think, are the new shitcoin, and it's just like, I'm a hipster that hasn't quite, that hasn't broken the trend yet. Who needs a currency like Bitcoin, like Litecoin? Like, who needs it? Why do you need it? The only reason that it has value in this day and age is because it's the first. It's that first piece of technology. And also because of the infrastructure and because of the speed, right? You can get money anywhere with Litecoin in like a minute, right? If you pay enough with Ethereum, same thing. If you want to be cheap, it may take 5-10 minutes. So like that's kind of where currencies have an edge, but eventually they're just not going to maintain the same excitement in the people for long. So you really have to find what people value and what they're going to value. And really the holy grail is finding utility tokens that people are going to need. They're going to use it. I'm creating one myself, so developing these ideas also would be huge, but you really should be, focusing on the business path and creating, well, ultimately, it would be prime if you invested in one of these tokens that went, 100x, then you could fund your own token and just, it has utility. You have to have something that gives it something that people want. So I'm getting into financial data. Right? I'm going to show people custom trends they've never seen before. And I'm going to give them the power to make the best financial decisions for their investments, for their portfolio. Showing them just charts and charts and charts. Here, let me show you just a quick snippet of what it looks like. Boom! Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I mean, it's natural dark mode. It has great colors. And essentially, we're creating profiles of each cryptocurrency against the rest of them. The first row shows you its internal statistics. The charts below it, on the second row and beyond, it'll keep going and it'll scroll down and down. You can see it against the rest of the market. So if we zoom in here, you can see Karma over BitShares, Karma over LND, Karma over Salt, Karma over Very, and then ADDX over BAT, ADDX over Global Messaging Token, ADDX over Month Token, and then ADDX over Presearch. So that's where I'm looking to go, right? But ultimately, you want to find the ones that have like passive income opportunities. So that's like loan tokens, where people are going to need loans to fund their operation, to fund whatever it is they want to do, and they build, their credit score. Essentially, we're going to rebuild credit scores with the equivalent of an Amazon review score, eBay score, TaskRabbit, Uber, and Lyft scores, right? You develop your score, and then we'll probably start developing after that an aggregation of all of those scores. You sync up all your profiles that give you better credibility of who you are, like proof of authentication, proof of person, right? You never really know for sure, but someone can always show up right here and there, and you kind of know who they are. So eventually, you have 99.99% chance that you know who they are, and you could guarantee the quality of work or services that they provide. We'll get there eventually. But really, the utility tokens are where it's at. And you want to find ones that have a low market cap. If you only got $1,000, don't go into Bitcoin. That thing is $100 billion. You're going to turn 1,000 into 2,000 if it goes from 100 billion to 200 billion. It ain't worth it. Put $1,000 into something like Karma. It's $17 million. Right? That thing could go to $100 million, and you are before Bitcoin goes to 200 billion, right? Because it's think of the market cap as a bubble, right? You don't want to put a tiny little flick into a massive bubble. You want to put a tiny flick into a tiny bubble. You want to let it go. You want to make it grow. And then you want to cash out on the market when it's like as high as you think it could go. And then you take that larger sum and you put it once again into a small bubble. Eventually you get to the point where you just made a killing. And you have so much money that it's not even worth your time to go into the little flick bubbles anymore, because you can't even pull the amount that you want out in the amount of time that you're looking to do it. So instead, let's say you got $10 million. $10 million, you want something that does like $100 million a day in volume. Maybe 50 million, maybe $10 million a day in volume, and you work it every day. But really, it's all about that exchange flow. Think of volume as like a river flooding back and forth. There's like a gate, and it's circulating. One's going this way, the other's going that way, and just. And so if you've got this big gaping and you just flick it in there, like, oh, I'm gonna buy Bitcoin. I'm gonna hope my $500 goes to $1 million. It's too late. It's too late. People were buying Bitcoin when it was a $10 million market cap. Now it's a $200 billion market cap. So you don't want to buy Bitcoin now that's 200 billion. You want to buy Bitcoin back when it was 10 million. And the equivalent of that, again, today, what is that? It's not Bitcoin. It's not EOS. EOS is like, it's too big. It's too big. Maybe back in February is a good time to get it. But now we're here. Now what's the next one? Is it Veritasium? Is it Karma? Is it PayPal? Is it Lending Block? Oh, Lending Block. $6 million market cap. 50% supply. I need to get some of that. I got $10 of it. I got $10. Lending Block. And that one could, but Veritasium will probably hit it first. That's the rub. Just because here's what. Because Lending Block is pre-alpha, which means that it doesn't have anything released yet. It's just an idea. They created a token, and they're on the market, and that's it. They're building. Hopefully they build something great. Veritasium, on the other hand, is code complete. They're beyond alpha. They're beyond beta. They're beyond beta, right? Beta 1, beta 2. They're code complete. They're secured everything. And now they're just biding their time. Why? Because they're not waiting on anything other than the government, who's holding everything back. So once they're ready, all of a sudden you have hedge fund, portfolio, and a click, right? One-click portfolio fund, ready to go. And that will happen sooner than Lending Block releases their alpha. Maybe the news comes out of it, but that's your call. That's your call. Lending Block is $6 million, 50% supply, right? So they can't dump on you too much, right? So that's one that I would really recommend, like, anyone consider. Really consider that one. Because it's so cheap. And it has a lot of room to grow. And so now the last thing I guess I want to talk about is regulations. I talked with an academic the other day. And He was all in favor of academia and institution. The SEC is out there for everyone's benefit. And, do we really want to live in an anarchy? Without regulation, without rules? Do we really want to give up the rules that we've created and start all over? Okay, there's two thoughts. First, going into that. One, is it a bad thing? Is the status quo that we have good, utopia, universal utopia? And the other thing to consider is, can you stop it? Can you really stop it? If I wanted to evade taxes, all I gotta do is buy Monero and go. And I would just make a habit of making trades for Monero to other cryptocurrencies in a peer-to-peer exchange. I'd go to, whatever it is. Dash is this, not just Monero, Dash and Onion, Deep Onion, and all the other ones where you just are anonymous, right? Any transaction can't be tracked and you're just totally invisible and you just have invisible wealth, right? And what can they do? What if millions of people start doing that? No, not what if. Realize that there will be a time when millions of people start doing that. And really, that switch where the government loses all control, like all authority, all confidence that they are the God-fearing entity to carry out the will of the people, aka the shareholders of the Federal Reserve, whoever they are, that moment will happen when this next swarm happens. This next swarm in the crypto, like the prices rise, the media talks about it, they're going to try and dump it, it'll kind of fall, but the real ramification is going to be that so many people get into crypto that it's unstoppable. And all of a sudden, billions of dollars divided into millions of people start breaking down into the cryptosphere and disappearing. And they all have prepaid debit cards that they can link to their wealth and trade in and out of being visible and invisible. And the peer-to-peer markets, just being able to put a computer next to another computer and say, all right, give me that, here's the money I have in my account, here's the money you have in your account, we're going to trade it right here and there, and no one will know. We take it offline, I put it on my hard wallet, people invest in the infrastructure and they take their wealth out of places that can be frozen, to be shut down, and have complete oversight by the government, by the powers that are manipulated by the powers who control the government. Does that make sense? So that's going to be the real shift. That's going to be the real shake. And I'm pretty confident that that period of time is going to happen the later part of this year, without question, by spring next year. No question about it. What are they going to do? Nothing. Anarchy. But then what is anarchy, right? So is now that we're on this government debate, so what are they going to do, and is it a bad thing? Is it really bad? We're going to create new rules. There's going to be a shift. Everyone's going to have more opportunity, right? But idiots are going to really suffer. Like dumb money, dumb minds and dumb money, both of them are going to be either washed away, like they're going to want to commit suicide because they just became broker than broke, like third world broke, like whoa, I'm broke. I got $1 million and it doesn't buy a damn thing. What happened? What happened to my money? They didn't know what money was, and they put all their faith. Anyway, this is a theoretical example of what's going to happen, what is going to happen to millions of people. Millions. A lot of people. And really, it's all about the size of bubbles. Now, when they say it's in a bubble, right, what does that mean? Well, some people think it's in a bubble means that it's overpriced, it's overvalued, and it's going to crash. But when I say everything is a bubble, it is a bubble. Think of it as a bubble of energy. And the market is the little siphon, a little plastic circular piece that you put into the bubble, and it locks there, right? So that things can flow in and things can flow out, and it all depends on the volume, right? The size, the growth of that little siphon thing is how much volume is flooding in and out of it, right? And the other thing is how many markets attach to the bubbles. Bitcoin's got thousands of little siphons, little plastic pieces in the bubble, right? So a lot of wealth can get shoved into it, a lot of wealth can get shoved out of it. Now what happens when prices drop and skyrocket? It's because they shove a lot of power into it all at once, and they eat up all the buy walls, right? So then you get into the buy walls and the sell walls on the exchanges. It's only as powerful as the amount of money stacked into the orders, right? You have orders to buy, trying to get in, orders to sell, trying to get out. And you stack them, and so the weaker that stack is, the easier it is to flush it up or flush it down. And the only thing that really drives the strength of that stack are people deciding to put orders on the market. That's it. So the bubbles, right? Crypto is a bunch of little tiny bubbles compared to the big fiat bubbles that have been building and growing and constantly been shoving supply into it and, whatnot. So yeah, that's how it kind of works. At least that's my understanding of how it works. I feel like it's a pretty good understanding. I'm in a good spot, so I'll stick by what I know and try and share it with you as much as I can, as much as I know. So really, ultimate learning lesson here: get into cryptocurrency. Stop worrying about your credit score. Don't be afraid to make a leap. Look how low that is. I mean, it was up there, right? And it fell, and then it fell, and now it's fallen, but it's not as falling further. We've kind of leveled out. Oh, we leveled out! Hey! When are we gonna fly? When are we gonna fly? And I have no doubt that we are going to fly, because I am completely convinced that it is a mathematical inevitability that the US dollar and every other fiat currency is going to hyperinflate, because they're all shit coins compared to the decentralized cryptocurrency networks, which have a limited supply cap, a distributed printing press, and really the people are backing in growing numbers, backing the cryptocurrencies. So that's why it'll hyperinflate. That's why cryptos are going to take it to the moon. Cryptos will be the standard. There's no doubt about it. They will be the standard. And it's only because we have this decentralized network. There's no central place where it all happens anymore. That's it. That's it. There's no more centralization. And so there's opportunities if you're ready for it, if you're building for it, if you are last lesson. You have to be smart. Not saying if you're dumb right now, or if you don't know what's going on, you're toast. No. Put the optimism into your mindset. Get the inspiration to learn information. What drives you? What is your focus? For me, it's business, it's finances, and really the mathematical element of money. That's like, I could watch videos, Robert Kiyosaki, Mike Maloney, Peter Schiff is, he's kind of interesting. Jeff Berwick is also kind of interesting. You know, I could watch Cliff High videos all day. Bix Weir is kind of interesting. But really, it's, you know, it's not just about getting the FOMO and the getting rich quick, because really, like, it's the mentality, man. If you're in the impression that you have to get rich, the desperation actually leads to poverty. Think of money as also emotion, right? You need to have a great vibration. You need to be optimistic. You need to be, like, always seeking and striving for better. And eventually, you want to constantly improve things. And you want to see where things are going to go. You need to be the visionary that sees where it's going to go. And position yourself. Position yourself into the right place. If you see something, you know it's going to happen, put something down. Take the action to put you in that right place. And be patient. It's okay. It's okay to be poor, man. Join the club. There's many. So many. So many. I still live like I'm poor. I don't pay for rent. Hardly pay for food. I'm living as cheaply as I can because of where I want to position myself. I'm thinking big, and I'm putting all my chips down where I know, like I know, is going to pay off something real handsome. And that's the journey. That's the life journey, you know. It's continually striving for something. It's not about getting somewhere. It's about the journey along the way. And so there's sacrifices. There's, you know, times where you're going to go hungry. And you know, as long as you stay positive and you do it for a good cause and it's worth it to you to live that life, then you live that life. You have, think of the sphere, think of that bubble, right? Now put your head inside and let's refocus it. So now you got a bubble all around you. It's not about equity and market cap. It's your possible future. It's your potential, right? This bubble around your head, or maybe, you know, like a rose, like you have a little rose, you got a bubble around the rose, you are the rose. Where are you going to grow? What space are you going to fill? The bubble around you is your potential, right? You have a 360-degree sphere, not just a two-dimensional circle. You got a sphere around you, and you have all the potential to go anywhere, but you can only go one place. You only get one choice in that time with your life. You choose it, right? So choose the best one you can. Realize first that there is unlimited potential. There's an unlimited sphere around you, and you are either going to wilt, you're going to do nothing, you're going to grow high, you're going to wilt to the side, you're going to get hacked off. You know, you don't see something coming because you didn't quite see the sphere doing something, right? That's where you start waking up, right? That's where you really start waking up. You start seeing, my goodness, if I choose this, this, and this, right, and I put them all into the same place, and you know, you kind of reshape your sphere, right? You like that point, you like that point, you like that point. They're all scattered, and then you control them, and you kind of move them all into the same space. Now you have like that sphere of potential that you are driving towards. It doesn't matter what part of that circle you hit, you know you're in a good space because you structured your future to be in that space. You controlled how your future is going to be, and you laid down the cards, and you know that you are going to land something good because you see it, you structure it, and you plan for it. You move towards it. And as long as you keep moving towards it, things just keep happening. So then it's all about being efficient, and you start changing your mental state. You start changing your ability to communicate, and And what it's the moment where people think, man, you've changed. Because either it's like, I just want to be rich. Right? You keep going for that, and it's like eventually you're rich. So what? You know, you could be a snob. You know, a lot of people, they want the money so bad. Eventually they get it, and it's like, great. Now I get to buy this, and I get to buy that. And I'm just going to be famous now, and everyone's going to love me, and compliment my jewelry and stuff like that. And you get surprised because, you know, you reach the wealth part, but that was kind of it. Congratulations, you've achieved success. And, you know, is that really worth it? Did it turn out to be everything it was? Who the heck is this? Say hello to the world, Jacqueline. Say hello to the world. What? What?
You ready to go on a walk?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. All right. I gotta go. Bye.